Collins, and I'm running for Minnesota House 39A, so that's Fridley, Columbia Heights, Hilltop, Spring Lake Park. And I'm thrilled to see this room packed. This is what we need, more than almost anything else. Because if we can't win this election in a massive blue wave in November and take back the trifecta in Minnesota, we have failed in our work. And that is why it's so, I was thrilled to show up at the caucus and see hundreds of people. We literally had people out the door at Fridley High School, and I think the same was true at Columbia Academy for folks on the B side. And this bodes well because we desperately need a democratic response, a small d democratic response, but also a DFL response to what we have just gone through as a community. I don't want to reiterate everything that Mary just said, but I think she's right. We're in this room and the enthusiasm is largely being driven by the knowledge and the experience of having lived through probably, well, for me, this is the first time in my life that my own federal government has invaded my community. And probably for most of you too. And this is a heavy thing. It's not enough that, that they've managed to move some of the agents out. I don't even know how many are left here right now. I know that the raids continue in our community. I also know that when this is over, we will have to rebuild. We will have to rebuild this community. One of my favorite books is called Finding Beauty in a Broken World by Terry Tempest Williams. And she uses the analogy of all of these fragments of broken glass being reassembled into a mosaic and creating art out of it. And that's kind of what we have to do now. We have to build a better world. And it's not enough to go back to normal. Normal wasn't great, okay? There's a reason why people were upset about normal. And we cannot settle for normal, right? The next stage of this work is to build a better world together, to do the deep organizing work to make that happen. So a little bit about me. My background is I have been in education and advocacy work for basically my entire career. I was a community college educator who worked at Century College in White Bear Lake for about a decade. Prior to that, I taught at a bunch of universities that had the word state and university in it, okay? Because my background is as out of public education. I owe everything I am today to public education. But I was doing the work in the community college, teaching communication classes, teaching public speaking, interpersonal communication, starting some debate teams. I started a debate team at Minneapolis North High School and one at Como Park High School in St. Paul. But I realized that while as much as I enjoyed teaching and training advocates, I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it for the things that I care about, that I'm passionate about. And so about 15 years ago, I went back to school and got a degree in advocacy and political leadership and transitioned into advocacy work, starting at Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness. And now I work for another nonprofit in the environmental space, who is a C3 nonprofit, and I will not mention, but you can look it up online. The upshot of all this work is I've learned over time that in order to budge really stuck, deep issues, you have to do the organizing work to make it happen. It's not enough to show up at the Capitol and have a bill, and it's going to happen. You have to actually do the door knocking and the organizing work to build the momentum for that work. I'm going to give you a couple of quick examples that affect our district. The first is the Manufactured Home Residence Bill of Rights. So Isaiah has been organizing on this for, I think, 3 years now. I was at a rally at the Capitol where they described how they've knocked on 10,000 doors in mobile home communities across the metro. They have built, over time, a vibrant and robust group of people that are pushing their legislators for this change, which would cap lot rent increases at 3% per year, and it would give people who live in mobile home communities that are being sold the chance to purchase the community and turn it into a co-op, like we have here in Fridley at Park Plaza. And this is an incredibly good piece of legislation. It has been, heard at the Capitol. I hear there's going to be hearings next week on this bill, actually, which is exciting. It may not happen this year, but it will happen. And it will happen because of the organizing work that went into building the base to make sure that our legislators are hearing about it. Because here's the thing, the Capitol is full of what I call Capitol preachers, okay? These are the folks that are paid big money to be there and represent corporate interests. The billionaires are well represented at our Capitol. The people are not. And that's not because our legislators aren't great people, they are. But they're surrounded by an environment of folks who are well-paid experts in how to make the legislative process work in their favor. And it is a rarity. It is a rarity when that is not the dominant thread of what's happening at the legislature. And so what we need are people to stand up for the people, to stand up against corporate interests and billionaires, and to put the people's interests first. And that requires fortitude and smarts, because it's not an easy place to be. You're surrounded by, and once you get inside that Capitol dome, it oftentimes feels like you're being surrounded by the interests that you're fighting. And it takes a lot of work in cooperation with legislators and advocacy groups. And I think this kind of inside-outside game is how you make progressive change at the Capitol. And I've been doing that work now for over a decade. I've worked to pass the 100% carbon-free electricity law that we have. I've worked to help ban PFAS forever chemicals.
Woo!
I helped protect the boundary waters. But here's another random factoid that you will appreciate if you are been in the district for a while. The last time the Minnesota legislature had a hearing about copper nickel mining was 14 years ago, and the chair of the committee was Satveer Chowdhury. The name you might have heard in a while. But that's how long that issue has festered at the Capitol with no movement at all. It's not about voting the right way when the bill comes in front of you. If you want to protect the boundary waters, if you want to protect clean water, if you want to pass the Minnesota health plan and get single-payer health care, if you want to do any of the progressive priorities that we all care about, you have to do the organizing work to build the base. And you have to be ready to seize the opportunity when it presents itself. So here's the opportunity. The opportunity is we win in November. We send a trifecta back to St. Paul. And then we make change. We don't wait and sit around and talk about, I don't know, everyday stuff. We understand the opportunity in front of us is to make significant progressive movement in the time that we've got it. The 2023-2024 session was amazing. I mean, incredible work done across a whole spectrum. I think Jamie Long has talked at length, the majority leader in the House, about the 20 priorities they had on the board, and they checked them all off. We need a longer list. We need a longer list in 2026 and 2027 when the legislature comes back with the blue trifecta. So that's what I'm passionate about, is building for big change. We're not here just to manage things. We're not here to rebuild normal. Normal is great. I mean, and I'm kind of enjoying normal right now a little bit. At least it's more normal than it has been. But I also know that normal is not enough. It's not enough for our community. It's not enough for the priorities that we all share. That's part of the reason why, I pushed so hard for this. Lastly, let's note, I'm the only labor and environmental group endorsed candidate in this race. I'm proud to be endorsed by Labor, and I'm proud to have 6 environmental group endorsements, including the DFL Environmental Caucus, which I co-founded in 2015. This is work that we've been doing for a long time together. I want to hear more from you about what your priorities are, and I want to help bring you to the Capitol so that we can make change together. It's not about one person doing it, it's about all of us doing it together. So thank you for being here tonight.